Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to show you another pastel drawing, so it's time to test out my birthday present, the Stabilo Carbothello pastel pencils. And I just recently went to the cinema to see Bohemian Rhapsody, and being a long-time Queen fan, I decided that it would be a great idea to do a piece of fan art. So that is what you will see in today's video. I am drawing Freddie Mercury on a stage. I vividly remember Bohemian Rhapsody reaching #1 the year that Freddie Mercury died, and I wasn't old enough to remember it being #1 the first time around. I was 8 in 1991. I remember also that my dad had the record and I played it on repeat every Sunday until the disc got scratched. Or that's what my parents said anyway. It may have been that they just got sick of hearing it on repeat all the time. But one way or the other, they got me to stop listening to it on the record player anyway. But then I also do remember taping it from the radio. I wonder, does anyone else remember sitting and taping stuff from the radio when they were younger? I used to do it all the time. I used to sit, especially on a Sunday afternoon, when they played the top 40, waiting for the songs I wanted, and you never quite knew where in the top 40 it would come, so it was guesswork if you didn't want all the adverts and things in there as well. And sitting there and just waiting for my favourite songs to come on, and then pressing that record button, and oh yeah, those were the days, eh? So anyway, the first thing that you see me doing, or no, that you don't see me doing in this piece actually, is that I sketched out Freddie Mercury just on a piece of copy paper. I did that because I didn't want to mess up the pastel mat that I'm drawing on. It's quite expensive. I think I bought this in a block and it works out at about £3.40 a sheet or something like that. So I went ahead and I drew it out on a piece of copy paper first until I was happy with my sketch. And then this time I decided to cut it out and use as a template, because I don't have a light box to be able to trace it. Plus, I'm not even sure if it is possible to trace onto pastelmat, as this paper is pretty thick. It's a 300 GSM paper, but it's also got a special coating on it. So I'm not entirely sure if it's possible to trace onto. So anyway, I decided to cut it out and draw around it this time. I think another way to transfer may have been to cover the back of my sketch with like a pastel pencil, just all over, and then if I'd turned it back over and then drawn over the outlines, then it would only transfer the pastel on the areas that I'd pressed onto the pastel mat. But I wanted to be able to use the cutout template also as a mask, if necessary, as a way to keep any pastel from getting onto that piece. So that is why I did it this way. The background of this piece is done with Faber Castell Mini sticks mainly, and that is because I didn't want to waste my pencils trying to cover such a large area. And these mini sticks are really good to just lay down on their sides. You can cover quite a large area even though they're quite small. And I just really love how vibrant the colours of these pastel sticks are, and they just have brilliant coverage. Much better, I would say, than the pan pastels, which I find to be a bit patchy. So yeah, I was really happy with how the Faber Castells laid down in the background. And I was using a blue pastel mat paper for this, as I didn't realise that I had run out of every other colour except for green and blue, and even white. I don't have any white left, but you can't actually tell once the pastels are down, so the coverage is that good that you can't see through anywhere. I think that it is on a blue paper, and that I think is really good. The only thing obviously you can see is the edges where I've taped it down, but if I was to put this in a frame then you wouldn't see it at all. But that does mean I have put in a new order for more pastel mat. I ordered it earlier today, and hopefully it will be with me within a couple of weeks, so that I can carry on doing pictures on all sorts of different coloured backgrounds. Once the background was done, it was time to go in and colour Freddie himself. I did that by laying down like a flat colour first of my base mid-tone. So for the outside of his jacket on the arms, I laid down a mid-yellow, and then with the pastels I went in with both the highlights and the lowlights, and then blended them together with my blending tools. And that is just one of the brilliant things with using pastel pencils, is that you can actually go in and layer lighter colours on top of darker colours. And I've always been one that I like to work dark to light. I've always done it with my pro markers. I really like acrylics because of that. I get really frustrated with watercolours because you can't work dark to light. So these pastel pencils are perfect for me because I really do like the whole being able to work from darker to light, as I've already said. And I was really impressed with the level of detail that I got with these pencils. They are a touch harder than the Koh-i-Noor pastel pencils that I have previously used, and that does mean that they keep their point quite a bit longer, and they didn't break as often either. I really noticed that I hardly had to sharpen these pencils, and even when they were a little bit blunt, they still gave really good details. So I was really impressed by that. And the range of colours is pretty good as well, although I felt there was missing a few good skin tone colours. In this one I felt I had to go a little bit too dark on his skin colour really. It was either you got a nice bright peach for like white skin, or then you immediately went into very, very dark colours, and yeah, there was no middle ground, so a few more skin tones would be awesome. I will see if I can pick those up in a different brand, because this set that I got is the biggest set that they do, so I'm not sure that there actually are any more colours available, unfortunately. And there wasn't what I'd really call a true red. In a few minutes you'll see I tried to put a red stripe on his trousers, and it did work out in this piece because the background is very pink and purple, that I used a pinkish red. But I just felt like it was really a minor problem, but lacking in like a true reddish, what would you say, reddish red, a proper red that's not too pink. Throughout this piece you will see that I lay down colour, and then I take a silicone tool to blend out the colours, and this is something that I've seen other pastel artists try out, and I thought I'd give it a go myself, instead of just before I've used sponges and like makeup sponges, and I often find that that can take the pastel off of the surface of the paper instead of blending it in. So I decided to invest in these silicone tools. They were only like a £5 or something. They really weren't very expensive, and I actually found them in the clay sculpting section of my local art shop. But I have seen lots of people using these for pastels, so I thought they can't be any different if you buy them in the clay section or if you buy them in the pastel section. So that's what I am using to blend in this piece, and they've really worked really well because they've got such a sharp point on them that you can get in all the little nooks and crannies and really get some good detail, and it doesn't smudge your pastels everywhere, which is really good. I thought they worked brilliantly. I think this piece took me around 3 hours in total to complete. I had 3 hours of footage anyway, so it may have taken me longer in terms of taking breaks, and but there were 3 solid hours of drawing that had gone into this piece. That is actually one of the other things that I really like about pastels, is they are so quick to use. If I had tried to do this piece with coloured pencils, it would have taken me maybe 2 or 3 days, maybe even a week, depending on how much time I had to put towards it. But no, it just went really, really quickly. So that's another huge benefit with them, especially if you're like me and don't have a huge amount of time spare every week to be doing your art, especially if you do it as a hobby like I do. Then I can definitely recommend pastel pencils if you're into coloured pencils and drawing and that kind of thing. One thing I am wondering, guys, is would you like to see a comparison of because now I have got these Stabilo Carbothello pencils and my Koh-i-Noor pencils. I was thinking that maybe I could do a comparison video of those two. So let me know in the comments if that is something that you would like to see. And if you are a Queen fan like me, then I would love to know what your favourite song is. That is if you can choose just one, or maybe two, or maybe three. Mine is definitely Bohemian Rhapsody, but there's a few in there that come very, very close. The other one is Only the Good Die Young, but I know that Freddie's not in that one, but it's just the sentiment, it just means a lot to me. Yeah, and do you have any songs that you remember recording from the radio when you were younger? Let me know that one too, that would be great. So guys, if you have enjoyed this video, I would love to know, and I really hope that you will come back and watch more videos. I make weekly art videos in a variety of different mediums. I'm currently having tons and tons of ideas for pictures that I want to create, but it's just a shame that I can't just sit down and art all day. Oh, some of us have got a day job to go to, unfortunately. But anyway, I really hope that you have a fantastic week. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you here again next week for more arty goodness. Bye!